Hello and welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And today we have another whiskey on our cask, and it's the Isle of Raasay. And this Isle of Raasay is very special because it is not special, it's core segment. So it is the first standard bottle. And that means we will get that pretty much every year now for a long time. Not quite sure. Sometimes some distilleries discontinue their first bottlings after they've come out with different brands. I can unfortunately not see what I see in the close-up, so I hope it is actually sharp. And yeah, it is very interesting. The first or the second whiskey from the Isle of Skye with in a core segment, and it is a mixture between peated and unpeated malts, and these peated and unpeated malts also were in three different types of casks. The first is an ex-rye whiskey cask. Then we have fresh Chinkapin wood casks and Bordeaux red wine casks. Ex-rye, Bordeaux red wine, we all know, but is Chinkapin. Chinkapin is the Latin name, or the scientific name is Quercus Mühlbergi, which is strange because it's an American tree. And it grows a little bit more southern and a little bit more western of the normal Quercus rubra. And it is of the oak trees, but it is not as good as the white oak, the Quercus alba. And therefore it is not widely used in any economical way or in any shape or form. So they did use some trees that are more or less grown in the wilderness to use, or they are not domesticated, for making these Chinkapin casks. Let's have a look at the bottle. There's a lot written down in the back, but let's have a look at the bottle. The bottle is it has a rough surface texture, or it has a surface texture with fossils cast into the glass, or what looks like fossils. And this should this is dedicated to the rough Isle of Skye. And the Isle of Raasay, I would say. It is not on the Isle of Skye, it's on the Isle of Razzay, which is next to the Isle of Skye. Yeah, I always confuse it with the Isle of Skye, but it's right next to the Isle of Skye. If you want to go on the Isle of Raasay, you always have to go through the Isle of Skye, but it's not on the Isle of Skye. And yes, what do they say here? The three type of cask, two type of unpeated, peated, natural color, unchill filtered. And it has a pretty balanced flavor profile down here, and a bit of background about the island and the location. The island has a population of 161. I look forward if that changes over the future when they need more workers. Okay, so that was it. 46.4% ABV. Same same information here on the bottle as on the box, and it's very closed, very, very good. So there you go. Light peat smoke already. And here we have the Isle of Raasay. So it's lightly smoky, a very gentle aromatic phenolic smoke. A little bit of a sea tone or ocean note. But it is also a little bit sweet. I think on the bottle it says more about the sweetness, but I do have only a very light sweetness, sweet tone. But smells very mature. Doesn't smell young at all. So that's the biggest fear of the young, the whiskeys from the young distilleries, that they bring a bit of an unfinished product to the market. But I don't have any alcohol or metallic used in it. First, when I had it in my mouth, you felt, really light whiskey. And then when you swallow it, first of all, the smoke comes in. It doesn't hit you like a very, very strong note, but it comes on big. And I would have expected a little less smoke, as they said, unpeated and peated. But this is going into the medium peated whiskies. This is not heavily peated, it's not light either, but you do have a good amount of smokiness in there. For everybody who doesn't like any peated whiskies, this is definitely peaty. It's medium peaty, it's not any Islay style, it's more of a Razzay style. And it's spicy. It does have a lot of spices in here. Especially when you have it in your mouth early. You do feel a little bit of that rye note coming through. It's not definitely far, far away from anything that was made out of rye, but it does have these notes and these aromas of the rye in there. The sweetness, they say a lot about sweetness as well, and berries and stuff. Don't have that much. It does have a little bit of a sweet touch to it, but it's rather pleasant, not sweet. And it's a nicely medium peated whiskey. Just when you swallow it, you get a lot of oak, strong spices, tannins, little bitterness, and then it fades off into smoke, light sweetness, and just that pleasant oakiness. It's a rather flavorful, heavy, strong whiskey. I think they've written more about sweet on it than I've just talked about it. So I really expected it a little bit differently from what I glanced at from the flavor profile. Lightly peated, okay. Fruit, cherry, apricot, blackcurrant, no. Savored spice, black pepper, cinnamon. Black pepper definitely, cinnamon not so much, maybe. Sweet spice, crystallized ginger, yeah. Sandalwood, yeah. Vanilla and butterscotch, a little bit, but they also say a little bit. Hint of saltiness, yeah, definitely. Most of it in the nose, but also a little bit in the taste. And yeah, it's a nice whiskey. What I like about it is that it is a medium peated whiskey. Usually you have one of these non-peated or extremely peated, and some of them go for lightly, but the medium peated range, that's more or less underrepresented. This here is such a whiskey that there's so few peat that there's a lot of stuff going on in the bottle that is away from the peat, but you still have some peat, and that is, I think, a bit of a market niche that have not been fully developed yet, and the Isle of Raasay fits in perfectly. So I can say, yeah, definitely a recommend. If you see this on the shelf somewhere, it's still a little bit expensive. 50 bottles for a no 50 euros for a no age statement bottle is a bit higher. I think the prices will continue to fall over the next year or so, or years, and but still very good whiskey. And if you've ever heard of it, and if you're so interested as me, and definitely you buy. Yeah, that was it. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.